This video considers the macroeconomic effects of tariffs. I'm going to use a very basic macroeconomic analysis, aggregate demand, aggregate supply. Also, to consider the effects of tariffs at the macroeconomic level, you really have to be assuming widespread tariffs. If you've got targeted industry-specific tariffs, there's a lot of microanalysis around that, but it probably won't have a general macroeconomic effect. Widespread tariffs, however, all aluminum, all steel products, tariffs on any energy source, or just a wide range of tariffs across many, many goods and services, all used as inputs and all consumed in the economy, will have an effect. And so what I hope to do is just show you in a basic aggregate demand, aggregate supply framework how you can start thinking about those tariffs and making sense of what they might imply. So first, why would a country impose tariffs? There are many reasons politically one country might do so, but in general, the argument is that we're going to use the tariffs, which are like a tax. If you don't know what a tariff is, it's basically a tax our economy places on foreign goods. So if I'm always buying cheese from France at my local grocery store, the tariff is a tariff on French cheese. It is a tax on that product basically when it crosses the border into the United States. So for me as a consumer, I see the price go up at the store. Now, a tariff is just a tax on foreign goods. So the tariff should increase the cost of imports. Why would an economy want to do that? Well, the goal would be to decrease imports and hence increase net exports. So just as a review, net exports are your exports minus your imports. If we decrease imports, that will lead to an increase in our net exports. There's a lot of evidence that broad-based tariffs actually also reduce exports. The reason is they affect global income in our currency and the ability for foreign countries to purchase our goods. Let's ignore that for now. The hope of policymakers is likely that the export component is constant, the import component falls. This boosts our net exports by lowering the amount we bring in, and hopefully protects our domestic industries and so on and so forth. Now, this effect alone would increase aggregate demand. The reason is that aggregate demand is a function of consumption, investment, government spending, net exports, and some policy tools. Now, this net export component, if it goes up, will increase aggregate demand. Why? If you think about it for a second, making imports more expensive, if consumption hasn't changed, it means domestic consumers are buying the same amount, fewer of the goods are coming from abroad, i.e. less imports, hence they must be spending it more on American products. As a result, aggregate demand increases as that consumption focuses at home instead of abroad. And so that's the whole hope of the policymakers. Now, that's effect one. Effect two, or I should say one. The second effect is the tariffs increase the cost of imports, which are key inputs like steel, metals of all kinds, and so on. When you increase the cost of key inputs to the companies in your economy, all of this increases the cost of production and lowers the short-run aggregate supply curve. So we're going to look at the effects of those two things When you increase the cost of production because you increase the cost of the inputs for companies, that will cause them in itself to decrease aggregate supply. So we'll look at those two effects and see how they play out in this framework. The second part of this analysis is going to look at how do we put these effects into an